Hello again, my dear grade 8 students. Welcome to another quarter of this school year. And of course, congratulations for accomplishing your second quarter modules. Or you are now ready for another lesson. And of course, for this week, let me discuss to you designing and modifying tables. Once again, I am your subject teacher, Mrs. Lorena R. Digisma. So for you to get along for this week's lesson, you may open your book on page 189 to 195. So for this week's lessons, that is all about designing and modifying tables. So first, let's start with rearranging columns and rows. So you can move columns to another location by dragging the column. So the first step is click the field name heading to highlight the entire column and click the hold until dark blue lines appear. Drag the column to the location you want it to be transferred and release the mouse. Let us have the demo here from the Microsoft Access. I have here a ready-made table, of course the product services. So for you to move or arrange your columns or rows, click the field heading to highlight the entire. So select the field or the column you want to rearrange. So for example, we want to move the product service to the last column. So highlight the first column or the product service column. And then hold or press and hold your left mouse or left click mouse. And then wait for the dark blue lines appear. So, ito yung ating dark blue lines nasa left part. So, once na nag-appear na yan, you can drag your column into the last part. So, move it into the last column. Okay? Good. So, we move the product service onto the last part or onto the last column. So, for example, you want to change or move your stock column to the first column. So, highlight and then use your mouse, left click, press and hold, and then wait for the dark blue line, and then move it to the first column. And of course, you arrange or rearrange your columns by dragging your mouse. So that is rearranging columns or rows. For next is inserting and deleting rows or fields. Inserting and deleting fields. Okay, so you can insert and delete fields in a table. Okay, so the first step is on the Home tab, click View command and select Design View, and the Design tab will appear. And then the second step, click the row where you want to insert and delete field. And the last step is on the Design tab, click Insert or Delete. So let us have our Microsoft Access, our ready-made table. Okay, so let's go to the View command. The first step, go to the View command and select Design View. And then once you select Design View, it will select automatically the Design tab. Okay, on the Design tab, select the column or the fields you want to delete. Okay, so for example, the price, select delete command. Yes, then of course, it will automatically delete your selected field. Okay. If you want to insert rows, of course, just select insert rows. And of course, you have automatically a rows here. There. You want to insert rows from the first row, of course, select the first row and then select insert rows. And so that is inserting and deleting fields. Next is changing a field's data type. So we do have two ways in changing a fields in a data type. Of course, you can change a field's data type even after setting up the data when you have created a table. So kapag daw tayo nakapag-create na ng table, for example, our product table, meron na tayong mga fields doon. So nagawa na natin yung ating mga fields name, meron na tayong data na naka-enter na from our datasheet view. So, pwede din daw nating palitan siya ng data type. So, for example, there will be, nagkaroon tayo ng complications in typing our data. So, pwede nating palitan ng data type from, for example, from number to long text or short text or from number to currency. Okay, so, changing a fields in a data type. The first step is on the Home tab, click View command and select Design View. On the Design tab, click the bottom down arrow of the data type you want to change and select the new data type. On the Quick Access toolbar, select and Save button. So once you change your data type, of course, you need to save your table. Of course, para mabago yung ating format or ma-save niya yung binago mo or yung ginawa mong actions. Okay, so let us have the Microsoft Access. Then, let's follow the step. Okay, so, punta daw tayo sa ating design view. And then, of course, as I told you, once you click the design view, it already select the design tab. Okay, on the design tab, okay, so in changing our data type, just click the bottom down arrow and select the data type you want to set as a change. Okay, so for example, short text, let us change it to long text. Yes. Okay, for example, stocks. Okay, so stocks indicates or it is in bold numbers. So let us select number from short text to number. And then go to the design view or datasheet view. Yes. Yes. Ano? Nasaan na tayo? Datasheet view. Yes. 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 Okay. So, product service. Okay. So, our stocks. Of course. Or another way of changing the data type is by going to the fields data or fields tabs, select fields tabs, and then we do have here the data type. So as you can see on the stocks, we do have number. From the short text, we change it to number. So we will go change it to short text again. And then our products and service. Okay, so from the short text, we change it to long text. So let us change it to short text again. Yes. Okay, so that is the two ways on how to change the data type of your fields. Okay, the first one is by using your design view, and the second one is by using your fields tab and change your data type here. Okay, so that is changing the fields data type. The next one is setting the primary key. So what is primary key? A primary key is a field or value that is uniquely identify a record. So for example, in a student's table, the primary key could be the student's number and not the last name because the student's number is unique for each student. So the steps in setting the primary key is the first is on the Home tab, click View command and select Design View. Click the row of a field that you want to set as the primary key. On the ribbon, click Primary Key, and the key symbol will appear on the left side of the field. You can also right-click the field you want to make a primary key, and on the menu, select Primary Key. So let us have, okay, this is an example of a table, two tables that has a primary key. Okay, so as we tackled on our second quarter that, or in our first quarter that, primary key is used if there is two tables or tables that is connected or related or it has a relationship with each other. So we use a primary key. So take a look at from the first table, we do have here the ID. Okay. As you can see on our first table, it is named as customers, and on our second table, it is named as orders. Okay. On the first table, we do have here the ID. So the ID is the primary key on the first table, and on the second table, it is connected or related with the customer's ID. Why? Because it is the same person. Okay, same person. The customer's ID from the first table or the customer's table ID, and then on the customer's ID on this orders table, it is customer's ID. Okay, so meaning it is involves only one person. So when we say one, that is one person only or same person. So meaning one data is connected and related to each other from the first and second table. So we use primary key. Okay. So let us have to Microsoft Access and let us set the primary key. Okay, so for example, on our product service, of course, we do have here the product service and the stocks. Let us have here numbers. Okay. And then let us set the primary key. So the first step is let's go to the view command and select design view. And on the design view, it will appear the design tab. And then as you can see, we do have here the primary key command. Select the field you want to set your primary key. So for example, on the product service, I want to set the primary key. So select the field and then select primary key command. And then as you can see, the key symbol will appear at the left part of the field. Okay, so meaning the product service field is our primary key. Okay. Or another way of setting the primary key is by clicking or right-clicking the field you want to set your primary key and select primary key. So for example, right-click, select primary key. So the primary key of our table or product table is the product services. Okay, so we can use the primary key in our employees info and on our employees salary, because we do have here the employees info, which is the ID, and in employee salary we do have here the employees ID then. So we can set the primary key here because these two tables is connected or related to each other. So we already have here the primary key. Okay, so let us do the composite key. So to create the composite key, just press and hold the control key on the area you want to put your composite key. So for example, on the prices, control key, and then select prices, and then on the design tab from the design view, click primary key. And then next on the stocks, select and then select or click primary key. So we do have here the primary key, composite or two composite keys. Okay, so what is the purpose or functions of primary and composite key? So primary and composite key is used if you have two or more tables that is connected or related to each other. If they have one data, two or more data that is connected or related to each other. So that is the functions or purpose of the primary key and composite key. So that's it for this week lesson. Once again, I am your subject teacher, Mrs. Lorena R. De Guzman. Go back to your module and answer the provided activities. Goodbye and have a good day ahead.